The inspiration for the sisterhood class began out of a desire to want to bridge a gap between the academia of women's studies and women in the real world who aren't necessarily sitting around and talking about feminism all the time. As a student, I was fortunate enough to be able to talk about sisterhood, gender, topics like those all the time because I was in classes and I had friends who were women's studies majors and we were all feminists. But I always knew that there were so many women who could benefit from these topics, and maybe even more so than I could, and they weren't talking about them. So it honestly made me feel a little uneasy. It made me feel like women's studies and topics that you discuss in women's studies were really kept at an academic level. So I was really searching for a way to try to bridge this disconnect. And after doing a little research, I discovered a Sojourner House, and I learned that Sojourner House allows volunteers to come in and you can teach extracurricular activities. Normally it would be something like yoga, sewing, cooking, something like that. But I approached the coordinator there and I asked her if some students could come in and maybe we could teach a class on feminism. She was really excited, and I had friends who were equally excited to try to get feminism outside of the classroom. So everybody jumped on board, everybody got really excited about it, and some students and I, we met over the course of a few weeks, several times, several hours, trying to put together that first lesson plan. And I would say that the first class, the first day of the first class, we were really pretty nervous. None of us really had any idea what to expect, but it turned out great. And all the women wanted to be there, they were excited, we were excited, and it was wonderful. And we were always adjusting and tweaking the class. We always found that sometimes some things worked and some didn't. It actually started out as a historical class. We were trying to talk about issues of gender through the framework of the history of women's rights in the US. And that worked for some women, and it didn't work for others. In one particular class, we learned that one woman was being bullied by the other women. So that's when we really realized that the concept of sisterhood maybe wasn't getting through in this framework, this historical type framework. So we changed it, we scrapped everything, and we started over. We changed it to a consciousness raising model. And that really worked. We found that that was the most effective, the most engaging. And finally, we were having these conversations and having these dialogues about feminism, about gender, and we found that the class was finally what we really wanted, and that's how it all got started.